Casey, this is, one could say, pretty easily the biggest game the Patriots have had to play since Tom Brady left. Certainly the one with the most hype, the most excitement, pomp, circumstance, all that. Because even when the Pats and Bills faced off in the playoffs in Buffalo, a lot of people, led by Mac Jones, it was, they're going to get killed anyway.
Right.
So this is a situation now. Things have flipped, right? You got a Bills team fighting for its playoff life, still trying to get in as far as, maybe, just maybe squeak in with the division crown. I don't think a lot of people, certainly the odds are against that happening. New England took the first one in Buffalo, prime time, and now an opportunity to sweep the season series with the Bills over there in Foxborough and clinch the AFC East crown for the first time since 2019. It's a big deal game, but as McDaniels was talking about here, these teams haven't seen each other in a long time.
Right.
It was all the way back in October, week 5. Patriots have reeled off 10 straight wins. That was one of those along the way, but it was the second one. So what are your expectations?
My expectations is that this is going to be a thrilling game because you're talking about this being a matchup that can actually live up to the hype of making sure that we all know how serious this Patriots team is and taking it back to the difference between October football and December football. Well, usually any other season, by December, what are we talking about when it comes to the Bills? They're only going to play their starters for 10.7 seconds and then they're going to call it. How many seasons have we seen that, though? At this point, they're kind of resting and they're looking to the postseason, and they're not in that comfortable position to do that. And now they have to go through a Patriots team that, by the national media, is getting 70% respect and 30%, well, are they serious? And then the strength of schedule and all these other conversations that come into play. So I feel like this is one of those games where it's like we've seen a variation of tests. We've seen a variety of wins out of this Patriots team. Now, how can they make sure that they continue to seal the deal and put their stamp of we belong here against a Bills team that's going to have a bad taste in their mouth, for one, and for two, can't come into Foxborough and do anything that they did on October 5th and come out on top?
My biggest question going in, I guess there are a few strategically in terms of how this game is going to play itself out, but the defense.
Right.
The Bills really, they can put up points, don't get me wrong. They can't stop hardly anybody. This is not a team that wins on defense. It wins really on the legs, on the shoulder of Josh Allen. The man, as great as James Cook has been this year, and they have the #1 rushing offense in all of football. Patriots, by the way, very good against the run.
Yep.
You've got a dynamic quarterback, the reigning MVP. It all starts and ends with him. Defensively, though, if the Patriots can get to them, I wonder if the Bills are actually equipped to win a shootout, as they've done, with the Ravens earlier this year, the Bengals last time out. Are they equipped to win a shootout against an also, very good Patriots defense that the Bills haven't seen a lot of?
Yeah, I feel like if it comes down to a shootout, it's going to be more so than wielding any sort of tight end against this team, because I know I've talked about it beforehand. Training camp wise, it was a conversation in terms of not the most solid coverage against tight ends, and that's where they can try to build off of. But what does Josh Allen do when, everything's on the line and it's time to produce? And we saw it versus the Bengals the other week. He's the next leading rusher, if not the leading rusher of this team to make it happen. And that's why John Lyons was saying yesterday, he would love to see this team, being the Patriots, come in hot with a lot of blitz packages and see how they can just completely disrupt any sort of flow for the Bills and Josh Allen. So I agree. It would be interesting to see if this does come down to a shootout, but I feel like this Patriots defense is not going to allow that to happen. I feel like everyone's trying to figure out if we're going to see as many turnovers forced as we did see in the first matchup. But more importantly, I think regardless of forcing the turnovers, just being disruptive, which Landry a little bit banged up, but still he's been tremendous. And you have a number of guys who have been able to apply such pressure, and the secondary has just gotten stronger and stronger week by week. I feel like this secondary looks different and rhythmically is playing different than they did in the first couple of weeks of the season.
Doug Kyed tweeted out, we all have our moments of let's play weatherman, right? When it's a big game, because especially in December in New England, you wonder what's it going to look like. So Kyed, there's a 96% chance of snow in the forecast for Sunday afternoon's Bills-Patriots game at Gillette Stadium. Dress warm, by the way, if you're going to be there, because you could be out in the elements. Obviously, it could be a long day. That said, these are two teams that we're not talking about Miami coming into town or the Chargers coming into town. These are cold weather teams that, granted, Drake May maybe has a limited sampling.
Everyone's so hung up on Josh Allen playing well in the snow the other day, and they're thinking that he's just going to throw on the Superman cape and completely take over in Foxborough because he knows how to play in snow. Well, don't you think Patriots know how to play in snow also, to a degree?
Yeah, I mean, some more than others, right? Like, obviously, when Brady was here for 2 decades, plenty of experience doing it. Drake May hasn't had a lot of experience with it. So, I don't know, is that an area of concern? You know, when you have a guy on the other side, and Allen, that has been through it, you know, here in Buffalo temperatures, obviously, and wherever else, you know, many, many times, May still a little bit new to it.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about the fact of how many seasons May has had.
Sure.
He's just playing like such a veteran. So, I mean, it could take into account. I don't know. I'm new to the snow myself.
All right. Well, again, you know, just to remind people kind of where things sit, the Patriots' second in passing offense. So, again, you've got a defense that is not particularly good on the other side in terms of the Buffalo Bills. You know, especially as of late, you look at what happened last time, 39-34 win against the Bengals last weekend. Now, granted, it was a couple of defensive plays that helped them win that game, come back and win that game in the fourth quarter. But can this great passing offense that the Patriots have put forth with the guy who is second in the MVP vote right now, well, vote, odds is a better way to put it, I guess, in Drake May. Many wonder, too, is this a referendum of May's MVP standing against a Matthew Stafford who is coming off a great game? And what does this do if May goes out and has another solid performance as we've been accustomed to week after week? We have...
Aren't you going to be there?
I'm going to be there, dressing warm.
Dressing warm.
In the elements with 3 hoodies and a hat and gloves and all of it. Got to dress the kids warm, too, so there's no complaining.
Oh, yeah.
Sal Capaccio joins us here, covers the Bills, part of the radio broadcast for WGR. Sal, it's great to have you here with us, obviously. And, you know, this is we have been... I think over the course of this 10-game win streak for the Patriots, there's certainly a lot of opponents that you take lightly, right? The Jets, the Giants, the Saints. Nobody around here, I promise you, is cocky about the Bills coming into town. But it's a huge opportunity, obviously, for both of these teams. Patriots trying to lock up the division, the Bills still fighting for the division. Ultimately, to me, they're still both playoff teams. But what are your expectations after we saw a walk-off win effectively by New England in Buffalo back in Week 5?
Yeah, I expect a close game again. I mean, that's the way the Patriots like to play the game. I remember Sean McDermott, his comment after the game in Week 5 was, we played the game they wanted us to. And what he meant by that was the Patriots want to make it a little bit messy for you. They want to capitalize on some mistakes that you make. And that's what the Bills did. They gave them the ball 3 times. The Bills took it away once, but they lost the turnover battle. The Bills did 3-1. And yet it took the Patriots until the final drive to kick a field goal. And I think that's where the Bills feel, hey, look, if we just play the game we're supposed to play in our game, we don't give them the ball, we'll be just fine. And the Bills have been in this position before. They have Josh Allen, of course. And, of course, Drake May looks unbelievable. He deserves all the accolades he's getting to be one of the MVP frontrunners this year. But, you know, the Bills don't want the Patriots to be having a hat and T-shirt game against them and taking over the division. Both teams will make the playoffs. Ultimately, this game matters, but it might matter more if they wind up, you know, what happens later on, because they might wind up seeing each other another month from now.
Very true. Well, so much conversation revolves around whether or not this Patriots defense can force a number of turnovers, but there does need to be a level of conversation between Benford and how he's been stepping up for this Bills secondary. What do you foresee in terms of him trying to be disruptive and kind of get in Drake May's head there and the 7 targets that he can use to make sure that this Patriots team comes out on top?
Well, first of all, notable news yesterday, Christian Benford showed up on the injury report with a toe injury when he hadn't had a toe injury, and he was seen in the locker room with a walking shoe, I guess we'd say. So I'm gonna have Sean McDermott, Bills head coach, on my radio show this morning. We'll get the official injury report and designations. Obviously, Bills fans are hoping everything's okay and it's just precautionary, but something happened at practice yesterday. We don't know, because Christian Benford suddenly had a walking shoe on, not a boot, like more of a shoe. So let's see where that goes. Now, that said, let's just say if he doesn't play, that's a massive problem for the Bills. They only have 3 outside corners on their active roster. They'd probably have to elevate Dane Jackson. They do have a really nice-looking rookie, Max Hairston, who is a first-round pick. He's really fastest player at the Combine. He would have to get run across from Tre'Davious White, the veteran. But with Benford, you have a lot more options. And what they did with Benford the last couple of weeks was he shadowed DK Metcalf, then he shadowed Jamar Chase, and he's pretty much locked those guys down. He had also a scoop and score touchdown against Pittsburgh, and then a pick 6 last week that you saw, I'm sure, against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been an elite corner, actually, for the last few weeks. So he gives more, options. I was wondering earlier in the week if he would shadow Stephon Diggs, but I do look, and Stephon Diggs is playing a lot more in the slot lately, and that's not going to be Christian Benford. He doesn't play in the slot. That's Taron Johnson, who's a very good player in his own right, but the Bills have to be better against Stephon Diggs than they were when they came here in Week 5. He tore him up, And, I'm sure that the Patriots are going to try to exploit that matchup in some way once again, but the Bills secondary will have to be very aware of that.
Sal, I could make the case that James Cook is actually more of an X factor in this game than even Josh Allen is in terms of how it plays out. I'm curious, who's your X factor that will ultimately shape the outcome of this one?
Well, X factor, so because both those guys are going to be really important, right? I could make the case James Cook is more the offensive player of the year than Josh Allen because of what he's done, but Allen might be their MVP because James Cook's been great. I'll give you a guy, a little known guy maybe because he doesn't get a big stats. I'm going to say two guys, actually. Jackson Hawes, a third-string tight end, and fullback Reggie Gilliam. And I say that because I think because of the way with Milton Williams being out and the fact that the Patriots haven't been as good against the run lately, I think the Bills are going to want to pound the football at them. And the Bills are the best rushing team in the NFL. And they're at their best when they have a 3 tight end set rolling. Best. They're going to go with heavy personnel. They're going to use Jackson Hawes. They're going to use Reggie Gilliam. They're going to run right at the Patriots and say, okay, without Milton Williams, see if you can stop us.
We've got, sorry, Casey,
Oh, no,
we've got less than a minute here, Sal,
Yeah.
but very, very quickly, all those years that Tom Brady won this division and Josh Allen ever since Brady left, obviously, if Drake May goes out, beats Allen again this weekend, could this be a changing of the guard or passing the torch moment?
I don't know. I think that it will be nationally the narrative like that, I guess. But look, I mean, these two teams, Josh Allen is 30 years old, 29 years old. He's still got a long way to go. I'm sure that people would say that. I remember Boston radio stations and TV stations, somebody said that the 11-month run of the Bills was over after they came to Buffalo and beat them in December of 21 in the win game. That didn't happen, right? It was the 5-year run of the Bills. So anything can happen after this. I don't think it's a passing of the torch. I think it's a significant moment to show maybe that these two teams, and we already are there, are going to be fighting for a long time with two great quarterbacks.
All right, we always got to ask the question before we let our guests go. Your prediction for this matchup?
Well, guys, I'll tell you, I am on the radio broadcast, and I'm embedded on the sidelines, so I try to stay away from predictions with all the things going on with all the gambling space these days. So just so you know, but I do think the Bills, this won't be something out of their element, right? They've been down this road before, and yeah, the Patriots are playing really good football. I would say I know the Bills don't want to have hats and T-shirts going on in Foxborough playing the Bills. So my prediction is it's going to be a very close game, probably a one-score game coming down to maybe who has the ball last again.
I certainly hope this is not, maybe as a fan it would be fun, but personally with my own individual fears, I don't want this to be number 2 of 3 this season. That would be too much Bills for my liking in one year. Sal
Capaccio, it's funny. Can I say this? I know you got a second. I would say it too, Adam. It's so funny you say that because I think if you told Bills fans right now, you might lose the Patriots, but if you could sign up right now for Bills at Patriots in the playoffs, would you do it? I think every Bills fan would say yes, not because they think, oh my God, we could beat the Patriots, but no Chiefs, no Ravens, give me the Patriots. Like, I think that would be the preferred outcome.